A new report out by a group called CoreLogic says foreclosure rates are down in San Diego, Carlsbad, and San Marcos, and they're down from the same time over last year. Also, the rate of delinquency is down year over year. Louie Ortiz, our real estate expert here, is here with more on to explain why we're seeing some of these trends. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Great to see you.
Let's talk about, first of all, the rate of foreclosure.
Yes.
From November of 2011 and compared to November of 2010, November of 2011, the foreclosure rate in those markets was about 2.25% compared to 2.5% the year before. So it is down, but not by a lot.
Well, yeah, and you know, reading this report, Heather, one of the things that was really interesting was that this is just a month-to-month comparison from this month to the same time last year. But if you look at some of the statistics for last year, for all the summer months, the rate is actually up slightly. We were in the low twos, and this November it was actually up just slightly.
So when you're just comparing November to a November, it looks like things are down, but year over year, when we take a look at the rates as a whole, there hasn't been a huge change, or if anything, it hasn't improved.
Yeah, it's been very, very similar, you know, low twos to mid twos, and I think it's really important when we look at these reports to kind of look at the trends over a long period of time, not just the month-to-month ratio.
Why are we seeing any change at all as far as comparing last November to this November? Are banks realizing that maybe a short sale is a better option than letting a property go into foreclosure?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons. I think that when you look at a lot of the sellers, a lot of people have negative equity on their properties, and they're considering their other options. A lot of people are doing short sales. They're trying to do loan modifications or principal reductions. Some people are just waiting. They think the market's going to improve. With interest rates so low, a lot of sellers have adjustable rate mortgages, and they're able to hang on to those properties. And so I think these are some of the reasons why we're starting to see that slow slightly.
And if we see those interest rates go up, which as the Fed say, they're really not expected to for some time, but once they start to go up, we could see the rates of foreclosure skyrocket.
I think that's going to be very detrimental to our market for that reason. A lot of people with these adjustable rates are going to have difficulty hanging on. But you know, there's also a flip side to that. Sometimes when there's an increase in interest rates, it tends to motivate buyers to lock in those rates and purchase. A lot of buyers right now are kind of on the market, you know, waiting for prices to get softer, and they know interest rates are low. So there's not a lot of motivation for those buyers to jump in. But when rates start to tick up, that sometimes motivates buyers.
There's a bright side to this study that was done. It seems that delinquency rates year over year are actually improving. More people are making their payments on time.
Yes.
Does this mean that we could see some bright spots in the future?
Yeah, now that's a good thing. Over the last couple of years, that rate is down slightly. So that's a really good thing. But, you know, it's interesting to know if that is really because of the economy or if it's some of the policy changes that the lenders have been going through. It'll be interesting to see that over the next few months to see what happens with that.
Do you have a real estate forecast for 2012 as far as will we see the market improve, things stay steady, or maybe even drop off even more? Do you have any predictions?
I do. My personal, nobody knows for certain what's going to happen in the market.
Yeah, there's no magic recipe to all this.
But I mean, if you just look at some of the inventory numbers and you look at the number of people with negative equity, my personal opinion is that we're going to continue to see declines for some time. I just don't see anything compelling in our market to make the prices go up. Any real estate agent has access to the tax records, and if you just look at the inventory and the negative equity that people have, I mean, it's just going to be a while before we get through all that, before we see price stabilization.
So if we want to help people who are in a tough position with their house, they don't have any equity in it, the neighborhood is seemingly having homes to go into foreclosure, what do you tell people right now? What advice do you have to homeowners?
I think it's really important to people to look at why they purchase real estate in the first place. Most people, it's their primary residence, and most people just love their homes, and a lot of people will be there for the long haul. And if that's the case, just hang on to that property. Historically, real estate in California has always appreciated. It's kind of an interesting time right now. It's just going to take some time. The other side is that if they're just financially in trouble, you know, consider short sales, you know, foreclosures are an option, renting some of these other options we talked about.
Okay, so don't give up though.
Don't give up, absolutely. California is such a wonderful place to own real estate.
Sure is. Louie Ortiz, our real estate expert. Thanks for coming in.
Great to see you, Heather.
So glad to have you here.